Hello everyone, back to tuning in to today's third and final video. We're going to have a look at the weather for the next 10 to 14 days. For today's final video, day 10, will take us to the 23rd of September, and we'll be able to extend out beyond that with the extended GFS and ECM ensembles, because they run to around a couple of weeks. We'll have a look at the CFS tune at the end of the video. For the next 4 weeks, that will get us into October. So I'll get on that for you in a moment. Just say that first video sables our 6 a.m. upload, and we've also released the ECM WF 30-day/6 weeks look ahead for the UK and for the rest of Europe as well. So please check out those two videos if you'd like to do that. Please like, share, subscribe on Vids. So we thank you so very much for doing that. We've reached 14.4k now, 14,400 subscribers. Thank you so much everybody for getting us to 14.4k. Big number going to be 14,444. I shall look out for it in the analytics, but thank you so much everybody for getting us to 14.4k. We're pushing on now to 14.5k. How exciting. Thank you so much everyone. Right, we're going to start off with the situation in the tropical Atlantic then. So we've got two areas of interest, two yellow X's, one there and one there. That one is disturbance 1 with a 30% chance of cyclone formation in the next 2 days and a 40% chance in the next 5 days. And then we've also got disturbance 2 with a 0% chance of cyclone formation in the next 2 days and a 20% chance in the next 5 days. So that's a lower chance of becoming a tropical cyclone. But this one could be one to keep an eye on. We shall wait and see. These are GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles for the next couple of weeks. And at Bristol today, so the red line is the 30-year upper air temperature average for Bristol. We're starting off above average at the moment, but the upper air temperatures are on a downward trend pretty much from now onwards. And by the end of the week into the weekend, actually the upper air temperatures will be cooler than normal. Staying quite cool into the early part of next week. Later on next week, there might be a bit of a recovery in the upper air temperatures. So we might see the temperature looking back up a little bit later on next week. Probably close to average, really, as we go in towards the end of the month. Precipitation wise, nice and wet weather in the south today, but once that's out of the way, and tonight, once that's out of the way, then things will be going dry. Over the next week, 10 days, generally looking pretty dry across most parts of the country, possibly going a bit more unsettled into the last week of the month. But of course, that is extended range and therefore is unreliable. Temperature anomalies from the 13th to the 21st of September around to possibly a little bit below average, quite unusual for the past several months. And precipitation anomalies from the 13th to 21st of September are again, and this isn't unusual, drier than normal in most areas, substantially so, in fact, away from southern England. Even there it will go drier once these anomaly maps update tomorrow, and today and tonight's rain is out of the way. Latest wind from map from earth.nullschool.net shows that we're starting to pull in some cooler air from the north. You see the origins of the air originating up here, south of Greenland, that pushing in through the country at the moment. So a cool down is beginning, and that will continue through to the end of the week. In fact, this is how the UK Met Eurorun is looking for midnight on Friday, with a bridge of high pressure in the Atlantic extending up to Greenland and Iceland, while a trough of low pressure is sinking over Scandinavia, and that pulls the wind into a very chilly northerly. Into the weekend, we keep northerly winds going, especially for northern and eastern areas. Bridge of high pressure out west will maintain a lot of dry weather, though there could be showers down the east coast. The main thing about weekend is that it will be cooler, notably so at night, with temperatures plunging in single digits and possibly even colder for some ground frost in northern and western regions where winds are light. Into the early part of next week, high pressure re-establishing over the top of the country. That will be quite a cool ridge moment, especially at night. I think we'll get some cold nights early next week, probably with mist and fog patches as well. Just perhaps I go a bit milder by the middle of next week as winds turn back into the south and southwest again. But certainly for a few days over the weekend into early next week, it's looking quite chilly, I think. Icon looks like that again, mid-Atlantic ridge extending up towards Greenland and Iceland on Friday with low pressure over Scandinavia. Winds are in from a cool, showery, northerly direction, and we keep those cool northerly winds going right the way up to the 20th, Tuesday, this time next week, when high pressure is building through the country. I'm trying to bring up some milder air from the south and southwest again, but that's still going to be quite chilly under the centre of that high pressure, again, particularly so at night. GFS midnight run showing again the mid-Atlantic ridge on Friday with a trough of low Scandinavia. Winds are in from the north through Friday and into the weekend. Showery conditions running down the eastern side of the country, but high pressure building in from off the Atlantic, maintaining quite a lot of dry weather, to be honest. That high pressure sticks around into the early part of next week. Again, it's quite a cool ridge over the upper air temperatures are lifting up by this point. On the surface, I think it will be quite cool with chilly nights, mist and fog patches possible under that area of high pressure. By day 10, 21st September, then we are pulling in warmer air into that area of high pressure, I think, although Bristol could be threatening some rain into northern and western Scotland. But temperatures probably start to recover as we get to around day 8, 9, 10 there. A then in more extreme range with the GFS midnight run, rather unsettled, cool and showery, with winds in from the west-northwest through the last week of September. And that's going to look right at the very end, 29th of September, has high pressure down to our southwest, low pressure to the north, bringing this westerly flow. That's all very typical, really, for late September. GFS 6Z, again pulling in those northerly winds on Friday and into the weekend. We keep those chilly northerlies going into the eastern side of the country with a few showers, mainly dry as the area of high pressure out west, but probably quite cold, and that area is high pressure by night. That carries on into OPAV next week. By the time we get through to day 10, the high pressure is pushing up towards Scandinavia, actually. So still in control of the high pressure up to day 10 and starting to bring some warmer air back in from off the continent, I think, by that point. GFS 6 really goes to town with high pressure in the final week of September too, so no showery cool interlude. Last week of September is just high and dry right way through to month's end, really, with the GFS 6 prolonged dry spell setting up there. GEM, once more, has the wind in from the north on Friday. Those northerly winds carry on into weekend as well. A bit showery down the east coast, main dry out west, quite chilly, especially so at night. Early next week, high pressure centres over the top of the country. By day, that kind of scenario will be quite warm in the sunshine. By night, quite chilly, especially when we get mist and fog patches. And then as we get through towards day 10, the high just begin to decline a little bit, allowing some low pressure into the northwest. That brings some showery weather into the northwest Scotland probably, and will bring some warmer air in off the Atlantic as well, I think, by then. And finally, the ECM, once more with the mid-Atlantic ridge up towards Greenland, Iceland, deep trough of low pressure over Scandinavia. Winds are in from the north on Friday, and then into the weekend showery across these eastern regions. A ridge out west to the east, mostly dry. High pressure centres over the country for the early part of next week, looking quite chilly with overnight frost distinctly possible. And then as head up towards day 10, beginning to see the high pressure declining and low pressure coming in off the Atlantic, turning things perhaps a bit showery, but also milder by the time we get into the second half of next week. Precipitation forecast based on the ECM run from meteo.com looks like this. A little bit showery in the south today and tonight, but rain actually picks up in the south tonight, turns quite wet. Pulls away overnight into tomorrow morning, and then just left with these showers running down the east coast, but most places turning dry really into the end of the week and the weekend. Next week, high pressure builds through the country, so once more, lots of dry weather with that until we get to around days 9, 10, and then we start to bring some rain in from off the Atlantic, so turning a little bit more unsettled by month's end with the ECM run. These are the options on the table within the ECM ensemble today for day 10 from ECMWF.ANT themselves. Day 10, of course, is the 23rd of September. 18 members of the ECM ensembles have high pressure to the south-southwest, low pressure to the north-northwest, and winds are coming in from off the Atlantic, a little bit showery with that one. And then we have 6, I think it is. Well, it is very difficult to make these numbers out, but I think that is 6 that have low pressure just to the west of the UK and Ireland, and we bring in wind from off the Atlantic. That's a little bit more unsettled. We've got 8 just here. I think that is with high pressure over Scandinavia and bringing wind from the east. that will be mostly dry, but could be a bit on the chilly side. We've got 7 with low pressure, deep trough of low pressure across Western Europe, and there is northern blocking involved with that as well. That's going to be very unsettled. And then finally we have 2, I think this is, with high pressure more or less over top of the country. Day 10. So a lot of differing options there. I think probably again uncertainty is down to potential tropical developments here, I would guess, is causing all those different options. In 2 weeks' time, these are the options that we've got. This gets us to the 25th of October, I think that is, or it could be 26th. We have got 12 members of the ECM ensembles with low pressure to our south and west, high pressure over Scandinavia. So that's going to be a little bit on the cool and showery side. I think we've got another 12 just here with big area of high pressure over Scandinavia. And again, that's pulling in an east to northeast wind, mostly dry, but a bit on the chilly side. We will have 8 here with low pressure across Western Europe combined with northern blocking. So that's going to be unsettled and cool. We have another 8 just here that has high pressure reaching through the Western Europe. That's a drier, warmer scenario. That'll get wind up from the south, from southwest. And then we've got, I think it's another 8. It could be 6. With low pressure to our east, high pressure is out to west, winds are in from the north, and then finally we've got 5 down here. We've got low pressure out west, high pressure to the east, and they're drawing up warm southerly. To be honest, there's so many different options with relatively small numbers, you know, favouring those options. So like 5, 6, 7, 8 for each option. But I'm not sure that these ensembles are all that much use at the moment, actually. So I may leave these off, actually, for a while, because there's just so many differing options all over the place, really. But I'm not sure there's a lot of value to be gleaned within these. So I might not show these until things start updating at the Icelandic Met Office again. Right, so just have a quick look at 7SB2 and then we're done. These are 500 millibar high tolerance breaking down into week periods. The first week period taking us from the 13th to the 19th of September. The coming week we'll have a mid-Atlantic ridge with high pressure going to Greenland, Iceland, trough low pressure in Scandinavia, and winds in from a cool, showery, northerly direction. Week 2 is going to be the 20th to 26th of September. High pressure beverages in off the Atlantic into northern Western Europe. That's turning drier and probably trying to pull some milder, warmer air in from off the Atlantic. Week 3 is the 27th of September to 3rd of October. High pressure is just to our south and southwest. A little bit of low pressure out to the northwest. So that is turning a little bit more shiny for the north, main dry in the south, and it's warmer. And then week 4 will be the 4th to the 10th of October. High pressure just to our west, southwest, and winds coming back in from off the Atlantic, mostly dry and quite mild. Maybe even rather warm with that scenario. And we're done. So if you enjoyed the video, then please like, share, subscribe. Thank you so much for doing that. Don't forget to your friends and family to subscribe as well. And why not drop a comment? Let us know what you think about this and all of our videos, as long as it's a kind comment, of course. Right, thank you so much, everybody. We'll be back tomorrow at 6 AM upload, and there'll be a 10 to 14 day or two. So keep checking back to the channel for more. But for this one, that's all for now. And thanks for watching.